These men were taught to fire their guns by the Americans, but they've now been used against both sides in the war in Afghanistan. Former police guards patrolling the border with Iran, they defected to the Taliban more than a year ago. Their leader, Commander Suleiman, told Al Jazeera in an exclusive interview at the time it was his duty as a Muslim to wage jihad against the foreign troops because he'd seen them involved with prostitution and alcohol. This week, though, Commander Suleiman and more than 50 of his men left their mountain hideouts and crossed back into government lines, laying down their weapons and vowing once more to fight against the Taliban. It was the result of a long series of negotiations that have seen more than 300 insurgents abandoning their jihad around Herat over the last few weeks. Commander Suleiman agreed to meet me at the headquarters of the Peace and Reconciliation Commission in Herat. He said he'd never been trusted by the Taliban, and the government has promised him a role as a district police chief.
Those that are fighting, not the Al-Qaeda men, but the ones who've been upset in some ways by the government. All of them would come over if the government would accept their demands. They would come and serve the government. I'd say that would mean about half of the insurgents now fighting.
President Karzai said in his inaugural speech, we invite all our disenchanted brothers with no links to international terrorism to embrace their homeland once again. But as many Western diplomats have wryly pointed out, lots of Taliban surrender. The problem is they then unsurrender. We found the governor of the province, though, being showered with praise and petals by the city's business community. The security he's brought back to the city means that investment is also flooding back. And that deserved a medal, they thought. But Mohammad Nuristani is realistic about the scale of the task that still lies ahead.
My message to the opponent, to the Taliban, to the enemies of the government from the beginning was the door for negotiation is open always. They can come and join the government, and if they have any problem, they can raise with us, How can we help them?
Only 1 year ago, the business community was packing up and leaving after a blight of kidnappings, extortion and murder. Dominated by the ruins of a fortress built by Alexander the Great, commercial life has returned to this ancient city. David Chater, Al Jazeera, Herat.